time zone, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second round of the Simufur GT3 Season 5 competition here. I'm here joined by yours truly, Denak and Newbie Nick here on the commentary box for a very exciting track here in Oulton Park. It's a story track, lots of action happening in real life and here in Simufur as well. We last saw this race in our Simufur calendar in the Silver Championship where it was very, very wet. But this time around, with even more cars, it's going to be even more of a car. It's going to be a very, very exciting race for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely. As you see, even just now in practice, even our P4 Plasma struggling in certain exits, as well as you see in just now exit of T turn 12. It's very demanding, very narrow track here, and it's very bumpy as well. If you have driven here, you will know how bumpy it is. It's definitely a struggle for the Ferraris, as you see people commenting about it in the chat. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting. We see already that the front engine cars, those that could take curbs, are heavily favored, as you see Simon Luck in the Aston Martin already in P1 in practice.
Yeah, they have been doing this. This is going to be very much mixing up the usual order that we would see from our car. So we see, for instance, our normal front runner driver here, Fess Fox, all the way down in P10 during this short practice session. There has been a lot of commentary from the mid-engine car drivers of like Plasma, of Fess Fox and Azure Gold for sure about, hey, just cannot take those curbs as the front engine cars would be able to. So you can see from this onboard as well how Plasma just has to skirt around those big sausage curbs on this track here just to keep the car planted. Otherwise, he's just going to be sending them off into the stratosphere and causing major carnage here. But we're already going to be at the end of our practice session here. So now it's going to be time for our very exciting qualifying. It's going to be, again, a split qualifying. Starting off with our National and AM drivers, moving then on over to the Silvers and finally to the Pro drivers here. And on this very narrow, very small track, we're definitely going to need that space here because if I'm going to be double checking my standings, we indeed have 40 cars currently ready to do this qualifying session here. So it's going to be quite some exciting stuff here as we're getting ready for our track. But before we're going to be getting on with our qualifying, I want to have a quick recap on what the point situation is going to be at the start of this round here. So starting off with our previous race, so we have Plasma able to secure that very dominant win last round in Kyalami, leading that overall charge here pretty well. With also see Blade able to sneak into that top 10 position just barely. But going further down the field, we also see a few of our AM drivers already here in the top 20, top 15 here as well, with the very good results that they had in the overall category here. And we also had lots of very, very exciting stuff we saw happening during the Silver Cup here with the Silver race. Blade will finally able to secure a first, probably not the first time, but a very rarely sought after Silver class win here. So if they can keep this kind of race going here for the actual main event, that's going to be something exciting. But we're going to have to get back on this later because already looking at our map, we see some cars getting ready on their first outlaps on the track. If I have another quick look on my standings page, I do believe that is now going to be the car number 22 of Vex. Indeed, they're a very frequent sight as we see around here on our track. So let me just pull on over to their perspective. You see that very familiar blue car again getting ready for their first laps around here on this track. But yeah, they had a very good run last time, but unfortunate incidents at the beginning caused them to have some incidents. But now that we have a couple more laps to go here, how about we have Newbie take us over on this first lap around the track here. Now walk us through.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting run here in the Ferrari for sure. As you come into the final corner here at T16, it's going to be very bumpy on the inside. As you can see, coming up into the lead, coming into the start pretty straight, very bumpy, a lot of undulations coming into turn 1 Old Hall corner. Very interesting, very bumpy. You gotta be very precise. If you get it right, you can get a very good run here. And if you run a little bit, just a little bit wide, the truck is going to get to you down T2 on Dance. And right into GT3 or Cascades. This is a very complex section of corners. Gotta make sure you brake just right, just before the dip, just so you don't lock up the tires coming to turn 3. Coming down into the straight before turn 4, a very long left-hander. You gotta come in, very good. You gotta be very confident in the car before you stamp on the brakes onto turn 5. Very long, very camber hairpin. So if you get it right, you can get a lot of time here. Down into T6. Very good run from Vex here, coming into the one that everyone dreads, the complex T7, T8, T9 here. A lot of bumps on the exits, but if you can nail it right, if you're a very good cars, you have good setup on the car, you're gonna gain a lot of time here. Going to T10, braking on the one board here as you see here. Go ahead, cut the corner just right, good exit here down the T11, T12 into Nico Brooks. And you gotta make sure that you have a good exit here. Too much wide and you might actually get yourself into the grass. You're gonna be losing time here. Coming to T13. A very long uphill, a little bit bumpy. Coming into T14, a break just before the board as you turn right into here. Double right-hander. Really complex section of corners. You see a lot of undulations, very bumpy. You gotta make sure to keep your car just stable enough. Coming into T16. And here, it's more than 90 degrees, so it really catches people off guard as you let the power down. And now we're back here already at T17, and that's a lap in Oulton Park. Very bumpy, very short, and really make sure that you need to be very focused, or else you'll get caught off guard here. And as you can see, Rex second attempt almost invalidates their lap, so it's really demanding. And if you can keep it clean here for the next hour, you're gonna be very golden, securing a very good spot here in Simufur.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a race of survival for all of our competitors. With them, there's a really wide difference in pace between all of our cars here. With the fastest cars being able to get into the 32s, even 31s if you're really pushing it during qualifying trim. But the slowest cars I've been able to see are all the way up in the 40s. I think I also remember seeing one of our drivers getting up into the 50s here. So in a very narrow, very small track like this, there's absolutely going to be an issue with traffic from our faster cars catching up to the back of the slower cars as they get around on our race version here. But that's going to be something they will have to absolutely keep in mind here. And looking at our times so far, we see a very strong opening from Vex so far. Nobody else has been able to answer them so far, starting off with a 1:35.6. But we do have Electroshock down in P2 with only a couple tenths behind here. So and everybody else behind them actually quite a wide spread compared to everybody else here. So this could end up being kind of a two-horse race between the two Ferraris at the front here.
Yeah, I think both contenders here, Vex as well as Electroshock, have shown that they are really big on pace. The Ferraris can definitely stretch their legs here in Oulton Park, but it's really up to the driver to make sure that, even though, as you can see just now from the qualifying, it's very bumpy, the car's going to try to fling you off the track as much as they could. And it's really up to the drivers to keep it cool, keep it in track, and if they really could, I think the Ferraris might just get a good run here. But as we see last race, no matter how fast you qualify, if you can't keep it on track, it's going to be game over. So we'll have to see how things go. As we see Cesar taking away the pole position from Vex with a 1:35.3, I think that was it. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. It's quite a strong result from Cesar so far, and we did see them quite impressively running during the actual practice sessions before we had the start of the race. They were all to be up in the P4, P5 positions. So depending on how well Cesar can extract the pace out of that car, as we see them going a bit wide and invalidating their lap, unfortunately, so they're not going to be improving on this time around here. But we're going to be probably seeing perhaps Zizos also joining this and pole position fighter with now only 4 minutes left to go on the session. So we are moving really fast with this qualifying. We're only on over halfway through on our AMP qualifying split here, with everybody still just on really big improvements. We also actually are going to be seeing Ferrari here on another 7/10 improvement as they're going around into the middle sector towards the very notorious Britain's chicane here, balancing that car around nice and smooth and get up into that hilltop acceleration zone here. Look at, they're quite flying on this track so far, so we can actually see them getting all the way up into the top 3 party as we see them going now around the Hislop section towards Hislop, towards Knickerbrook. Do you think to just get that exit nice and straight there with the advantage of that heavy front engine into the M4? They are going to be on a pretty good run so far, and if I am correct, yeah, we also see a lot of other cars on a really big improvements here. So it seems like a lot of our drivers still have a lot of pace left in their pocket.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a theme during this qualifying session. I think a lot of drivers, if they aren't too greedy, they will make sure they can get every single last second out of it. But if you're going to have issues with invalidating all that time, as we saw almost see Enter Midnight almost did, then you're going to have a lot of time on the table. I think that's going to affect your qualifying. I think that's more going to be happening in Silver, but in AM, I think we're going to see, as the drivers start to do their final lap here in qualifying, that we might just see them start to line up properly within the grid.
Yes, we actually also saw another update from Electroshock, able to get into the front of the ground pack again now with a 35.1, so our AM drivers are definitely getting close into that 34 range here, but after we've seen some of our drivers be able to get right up into the 32s, it's going to be very interesting to see if they're going to be able to improve it all here with another 2 minutes to go here. We are still in fast track configuration, so the track isn't quite as rubbered up as we saw in the practice session here, and we also saw a bit of a yellow flag coming from one of our drivers. They're probably just pulling over into the pits, hoping to get their car set up for one final run around here. We also see Electroshock still on a slight improvement going out towards this back section here, but I think the poor exit going out from turn 15 cost them a lap time, unfortunately. But let's see if they just go around, swing that car wide towards turn 15 and just accelerate down, chasing down their fellow competitor Z-Source up ahead as we see them in that green Lamborghini. I see them just a tiny bit of improvement now going through turn 16 and towards turn 17. It's going to be too wide. That's unfortunately invalidated lap time for them. Meanwhile, we see Vex also behind them, having another run here, hopefully able to challenge towards the front of the pack here, with only a couple minutes left to go on our amp class, and it's certainly a very, very tight competition at the top.
It's going to be very tight. You see them all bunched up together. P2 and P3, 500ths of a gap difference. But hopefully Vex with this lap might be able to gain a bit more as they're a tenth down on their previous lap time. And now coming into the Britain's complex here, as long as they make a good exit, as they barely do, actually they don't, actually they lose a bunch of time in this complex. They're gonna make sure to gain it back as much as they could, but if they don't, that might be it for the qualifying. As you see Zizor actually getting 2/10 up on the current time. Oh, as we see Vex actually a very good run here, 3/10 up from their previous run. They might actually see a very big improvement. Will Zizor be able to answer that? I think that time will tell as they come into the final lap of this race. Currently 5/10 up from their previous time. They might actually snap P1 from Electroshock this time around. Really good run out into T15, coming down into the last corner in T16. Really felt really nice. Good exit maybe, and a little bit compromised, but it's better safe than sorry as they come into the corner and 4/10 up, and they will secure P1 with a 134.8 already reaching the 34s. I think we're gonna see Silvers trying to beat the AM counterparts, or else they're gonna have issues in the race.
Yes, indeed, and now we have our AM qualifying session over. We have a couple cars still left on the lap, so we hope to maybe have a bit of an improvement, but it's not looking too hopeful for any of our other AM prospects here. We see Cooper at the back here on another 4/10 improvement. We also see another 1 second improvement from our 529 driver of Oulton Park there, but it's looking quite well as we actually see Vest on another improvement. They managed to just barely get across the finish line at the dying seconds of their amp split here, and it's looking very much like they're on another flying improvement there. And already 3/4 up going out towards British now towards Hilltop corner here now, just extracting everything at that pace, but it looks like they had a compromised exit going up through Britons, and that's going to be invalidating their not invalidating, but losing all of that time they had in the earlier parts of the track. So that's going to be looking to be it. But we do see some big improvements coming up from Oulton Foxdale and Eggful all the way at the back of the pack here. So they're still hoping to get a couple more positions up as we see Wolfing Foxdale now swinging it around towards turn 15 Druids into those final couple corners. You get turn 16, just swing that wide, balancing the car just on that double right-hander, and we're going to be still on a really good improvement here. We see now just need to get that final corner right to turn 16, getting that just right on the outside here, avoiding that invalidated lap time here, but we see them going out across the line with a very impressive improvement, 1.5 seconds, putting them all the way up into P6. So well done on that last run from our AM driver.
Yeah, it's a very good run from Wolfin. Very big improvement. I think they'll be very happy with that result right there. Let's see, the Silver's trying to come out. The second penalty we have. The first penalty was in the AMS. This is the second driver in the Bentley Biscuit, as well as Castro out. They're all the Silver drivers are out right now. Who do you think will be taking this silver pole here?
It's gonna be hard to say, because the pace difference between the cars can be quite varied, especially in the silver class here. With a lot of the cars in the silver class are mid-engine. We see the Ferraris, the Porsches or actually not mid-engines, but mostly mid and rear engine with the Porsches and the McLarens and the Ferraris here. We only have a couple front-engine cars which are supposed to have the advantage, as we see Kestrel going quite a bit wide into the turn 5 show oilless corner here, so not able to get the first lap around the track here, unfortunately, but they're still trying to push as much as they can, as we see the fellow competitor late with Kagekio just behind them, hoping to also get some good stuff. They actually got that very good silver win last time in Kyalami. They're hoping to maybe in their home turf capitalize on that win and just get another pole position and extend their lead even more. So I'd say my money is on Blade. He's a really good solid driver. He knows how to keep his nose clean and topper, and he seems to being able to drive quite comfortably around Oulton Park.
Yeah, I think we had some discussion with Blade before the race, and I think Blade's going to be very confident here. They have driven countless of times in the rain and in the dries, and they are in an accident. You know, accidents really get on over bumps. It's a front engine car. You know, even though it looks tiny, my God, does that thing take curves like it's nothing, and very envious of that car right now. And I think a lot of the competitors will too. Castrol in front might just be struggling too hard with the Ferrari, but I think time will tell as they cross the line here on their first run. That was just the outlap, so we'll have to see as we start their flying laps here. Few crashers starting to go in their Nate, Blade, as well as Aura, they're all signing right now.
It's actually quite surprising we're seeing the car number 8 of Lunatic able to secure the silver pole position so far, as we see them going really wide into the exit of turn 3 here through Cascades. Another really tricky. I'm kind of to say pretty much every single corner on this track is tricky. I'm gonna be the first one to admit I did not enjoy driving around here, especially in the Silver Champ with the wet track, making all the issues of a very bouncy mid-engine car even worse. So I'm gonna give massive props to Lunatic being able to just extract a lot of pace out of that McLaren 720S and getting into closely to that 34 range, but we are still seeing Vex in a very dominant streak for 2 races in a row now, able to stay ahead of most of the silver drivers despite them being in AM class.
I think that's going to be a thing for Vex. I think they are going to be a very good driver, and I think that's going to be shown on the page sheet alone, but it's really up to how Vex is able to survive the race. I think that will really dictate if they're able to get out of this season or not. And I think a lot of the silver drivers are going to be struggling to fight Vex in this race. I know for a fact that Miles Racing in the Friday Night Lights champ, the fact that they are definitely very fast in pace. They just gotta make sure to keep themselves clean. I think with that, they're gonna have a good race here.
Yes, they did have that very unfortunate incident at the start of the Kyalami round that caused them to retire out of the race, but hopefully with that very good, impressive qualifying run again, they're going to be able to keep their nose clean this time and get into a better run, as we now see BP Nate able to cross the finish line with an improvement of almost a second, now up into a 34.6, now finally taking away the provisional pole position from Vex, now who's currently sitting in P3. We also saw Auras Vobis with quite an impressive run, able to get only 700ths of a second off Nate's time here, so as we seem to have some issues loading up Auras as delivery, unfortunately, so we're not going to be able to see that, but very good stuff from our silver drivers here. We also see Lunatic behind them, also another 3/10 improvement. They're actually getting quite close to securing the provisional pole position in the silver class, as we see them going up into hill. A big bit of bouncing going up on the curves here, and able to still somehow get another 3/10 out of that exit here now, as we see them going around towards turn 10, 11, and 12, swing that car around using that mid-engine balance just nicely there. Just be careful with those curves there, because that's going to be costing you a lot of lap time, but it's looking very impressive so far for Lunatic on another 6/10 as we see going them around these long sweeping corners towards turn 15. That double tricky right-hander is just about able to get that car balanced. Now it's just going to be the final charge towards turn 16 and towards turn 17 here, just in that right braking point, tucking it in, making sure to be just on the outside of the exit curbing here. That's looking pretty impressive from Luna so far, and that's indeed going to be another improvement up into the top provisional pole standing with a 34.4, so really good stuff from our normally Porsche driving Lunatic, now driving a McLaren.
Yeah, very well done. I actually talked with Lunatic why they have chosen the McLaren over the Porsche, and they said they're just coming back to their roots. Previously, in my first season here in Simufur, in our first APAC race, Lunatic was driving McLaren, so they said they just want to go back to their roots, get a more stable car. And I have to say, the McLaren is a pretty stable car for the engine car. It is a very long wheelbase, so it's going to be less exciting. But I think that's just what Lunatic wants, to have a very stable Platinum engine car, while at the same time being an engine car will have some dynamics to it. And as you can see, it's doing it wonders in this track. I think we're going to see a theme here, as you see the silver drivers starting to finish up the grid, and the McLarens are on the top compared to our usual favorites of the Ferraris. And I think the few very stable cars like the McLaren as well as the BMWs are going to dominate strong on this track as they eat the curves and the bumps like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting seeing from the footage we have here seen here. So we see the Ferraris, the Astons kind of skirting kind of carefully around those big sausage curbs, especially through the very tricky Britain's corner complex, through the chicane section there. But we've seen the McLaren of Lunatic just eat that sausage curb, just charging straight through it. So it could be perhaps like an optimized setup with the bump stops and the suspension, just able to tackle those curbs much better than the Ferraris can. As we see them going on another 7/10 improvement around this lap across the finish line with a 33.752, opening that a massive gap to their fellow competitor. Horace Williams behind. They're now over 6/10 behind. So it seems like Luna's been able to really figure out that McLaren 720S, and now they're on a really commanding drive towards the final few minutes of their split in this qualifying.
Yeah, it's glad to see Lunatic right up there in the top, and it'll be our first driver in the sub 34s. And I must say, I think it really comes down to how good the setup is. They do know how to run the setup for their cars, and I think it's really just comes down to how you want to approach the car. Because a lot of the drivers, you can think about a compromise between a very stiff setup that can make you be stable around corners, or you can just say that it's just better to take curves. As you can see, Luna just eating the sausage curves like it's nothing. And sometimes you just gotta make a right balance. Sometimes you just want to know that a good, if you mount the curves just right, you can get a good exit. And sometimes it's just worth it. As you can see for Luna, it'll be very worth it. As you see, even the next driver that's going to come up with the biggest improvement, Castrol, 5/10 up. Even with the math that we have here, even if they finish their lap with all the improvements that you have, they might just eat into the 34s. But as they do with 7/10 up, I think there's going to be the next contender behind Lunatic. But I think with this round, it's still not enough to answer it. As you come down into T16, I think time will tell if they have a good exit, as they do somewhat. As you come into T17, if they keep it up, they will get a 1:34.0, barely coming into the 33s in the Ferrari. I see that's the first Ferrari that has been this fast, and I think they'll be pretty happy.
Yes, indeed, a quite good run from them, but unfortunately they just compromised their exit going into the final lap around here, so they're already 2 seconds down on their time. So that's going to be the end of their run, because we only have 10 seconds left on our silver split here before it's time for our professional pro drivers to take on the grid here. And looking quite promising. So we see Fossey actually still here on a valid lap here, currently on a 7/10 improvement from their previous run. Now going towards the final turn 16 complex here, getting that just right there. Improving a little bit again here, going across the finish line. That's going to be quite a massive jump now up into the top 5 finally. That's in the dying few seconds of the silver split here. So well done from them. We also saw another run from Blisket behind them, but I don't think they were able to they had a bit of a poor exit somewhere around the track, and now they're happy about their lap time so far. But that's going to be the end of our silver split. That's going to be a confirmed pole position in silver for Lunatic, so congratulations to them. And that's going to be time to move over to our pro drivers, who are now just eager to get on the track. And if I do have my relatives, like that's now going to be the car of Joker. Over at the front of the pack here now, getting ready for their first lap around this track. And now it's going to be time to see how well these pro drivers can get these cars extracted. We talked a bit earlier about how they will maybe get into 33s, perhaps even into the 32s here, but seeing how much the cars of Luna and Vex had to extract out of their cars just to get these 33s so far, I think 32s might be the best that our topmost drivers are going to be able to get from this qualifying.
You say that, but you know the pros, they will they're always out there. Be like, kids, sit down. It's our turn to show you how it's done. And I think we're gonna have very good drivers here to show you how it's done. We have Joker, we have Fez, all the fastest drivers that we have on the grid. They are always very impressive. I think we're gonna see a very good show running by them. And the McLaren of Joker is definitely gonna be one to look out for, I think, as they come out into T16 on the flying lap here. And yeah, actually speaking of which, I was going to point out T1. I don't think we talked about T1 enough. T1, I think me and you have been drilling here long enough to know that the track limits here are very, very unforgiving for T1. A little bit too much and you might invalidate. And that's just for qualifying. If you are racing, it's going to give you a track warning. I think that's a corner to look out for, and the drivers are going to start to get drive-throughs if they don't behave. They don't enforce. They don't behave to the track limits there.
Yeah. We have talked a lot about in previous seasons as well about like the potential track limits causing drive-through problems for our drivers, but it usually has been the case where as soon as it's time to race, our drivers have been able to scale themselves back just enough to keep themselves out of trouble from getting drive-through penalties. But what I want to be more paying attention to is going to be just track limits in general causing major carnage and spinning, because there's no tarmac. There's no tarmac around here. If you go outside the track limits, all you have is grass and gravel. So if you dip a wheel on the grass, it's just going to send your car spinning. It's going to cause major destruction. And especially if at the very start of the race here with 40 cars all packed into this very tight turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 combos, it's going to be quite risky for our drivers to get through it. So I'm hoping that all of our drivers are aware of this very tight nature of this track here. They're just going to be being extra cautious around the first 5 laps until the grid starts to spread out before they can really start pushing for their own positions.
I think it really depends. I think some of the drivers here who are veterans will know this, but we also have a couple of new drivers here. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to making sure that you keep your distance and making sure you're going safe. It's going to be really tempting to overtake the drivers in front, but if you're smart enough and you think 5 steps ahead, you will know that having a position here does not equate to proper positions until the very end of the checkered flag. As you see Joker, I think, did he invalidate his lap time here as we cut his on the curb? Yes, he did, and that's what I was talking about. A little bit too much on the curb and you will invalidate your lap time. That's going to be unfortunate for Joker as they are still 3 tenths up, but I think they're still trying to make sure they are driving as fast as they can just to spread out the gap which they have behind to the car behind, which is Fez right now behind them. And yeah, it's gonna be, we still see the pros struggling to get some lap time here, but I think as the session goes on, we're gonna see very good flying laps in all these guys.
Yeah, it's also kind of curious to see how Joker is doing that same kind of line through the Britain section here, with they're actually just skirting around those sausage curbs quite far as compared to Lunatic, who was able to just eat those sausage curbs. So perhaps it could be a more of a setup difference between Luna's and Joker's car that caused Luna to get such a good run through the entire track and just able to extract so much more pace than our pros so far, because we currently have Fez Fox only about a 10th behind on their first lap around here. They are still not on an improvement so far going on their second lap, so it's looking quite a lot like Luna's been able to get very high up on this grid here, so by perhaps even a proper top 5 position here looking so far. We do have our resident pro esports driver Plasma currently on another half a second boom now going towards Hilltop, not towards turn 10, 12, and 13 here. It's going to run, hoping to get another run up here. They are, again, quite massively up on their previous delta time so far. Now on another 7 tenths up now going towards Sector 3, towards the very twisty Knickerbrook, Clay Hill, Water Tower, Druid's Corner here. Let's see if they're just going to be able to dance that very tricky Audi R8 around just right through the double right-hander. Seems to be almost, but that's unfortunately going to be an invalid lap, but they're going a bit too wide on that turn 15 exit. That's going to be invalid in their lap time, so it's going to be, that would have been a 6/10 improvement, quite close up into the top 5, but not enough to nab the pole position. But we do indeed have another update on our pole position. That's going to be the car number 44 of Cairo up in a provisional pole for the 33.5, and currently on another 1/10 improvement going up into a Hilltop again. So we saw quite a lot of impressive pace from Cairo, so I'm going to be expecting this Mercedes AMG to be at least on the front row of the grid, if not in pole position itself.
If you see just how much curb Cairo's eating, the AMG driver can take it. But you also have to remember, as well as the AMG driver, you shouldn't take as much, because as with how harsh the temperature is between the guns and the tarmac here in Oulton Park, you're going to start burping the tires, and you do not want it under-inflated tarmac here in Oulton Park with those 2 tires. So Cairo, even though he can take the curves, they should really think about if they should take the curves, just so that they don't lose their pace over time in this race.
Absolutely, indeed. We have seen in previous races, so I do recall it was in Donington Park and in Oulton Park especially, where the track limits can be quite unforgiving and the curbs can be quite unforgiving, not just towards your lap times and getting driver track limit warnings, but also on your tires as well. We saw in the opening round of the Silver Championship with the very brand new 1.9 update is that a lot of the drivers actually suffered through slow punctures from just taking the curbs and taking the grips right on their limit and causing a bit of damage on their tires here. So we might see that same thing happen as well during this Oulton Park race as well. But that's why we have the fortunate thing of having a pit stop, so our drivers can half lock to if they see their slow puncture happening at the right time. They can just pit in, get some fresh boots in there, and get ready for another one here. So we do see Festbox able to now secure their provisional pole position so far, and they're still on another half a tenth improvement now, going towards 10, 11, 12, going on a bit too deep on that run here, but able to get that just down the stride now, going up into the exit. Ooh, yeah, that's going to be unfortunate. Again, it's going to be those track limits. A bit too much curb on the inside of turn 12, causing them to lose all that time without that being not having much of an improvement. But we're going to be seeing them maybe push a bit more. Oh, a bit of a slide going through turn 2, scoring into turn 15. It's going to be costing them another bit of time again on their exit speed. So that's unfortunately not going to be an improvement as they go through turn 16, unless they can really send it through that corner. But it's not going to be quite enough. So not an improvement so far, but definitely a very close fight between Festfox, Chiral, and Tyne Fox. So as we see Festfox now just pulling over, getting ready for probably another final run here around the track. But we do see the Tyne Fox in P3 at the moment, also able to get that BMW M4 quite well handled so far and get up into that top 3 fight.
Yeah, it's going to be Tyne. BMW is going to be very stable here, and I'm glad to see them in top 3. But it's just, I was going to highlight as well just now, Plasma was pretty strong on the improvement. 7/10 up right now in their lap coming down into the last final corner. We're going to see Plasma starting to actually set a good lap time here, jumping all the way down into P4. Still can't answer to the strong, very big BMW though. But yeah, the BMW is going to be a very strong car here because it's going to be very stable. It's going to make sure that it can eat the curbs, right? But as you can see just now, as we were talking about setups, the McLaren, even though driven by 2 different drivers, they take very different lines, and it really just comes down to how the drivers decide how they want to take the track here. They want to take the curbs, or they want pure stability. And I think it really comes, it's going to be a very big challenge to drivers that set up their own setups to learn how to set up the car for this very bumpy track. And I know for a fact I did not set up this track the way that I do similarly with other tracks because of how bumpy it is. As we see, coming down to actually plans with actually 2 tenths up right now, but we can actually go to green with in the Ferrari, 2 tenths up as well. Have you seen anything good from Greenleaf this time around for in Oulton Park?
I've not actually seen much about Greenleaf this time here, but they seem to have been quite strong from the little commentary I saw them in a little bit of peeking a hat in the practice server earlier in the week. But so far they are a pretty impressive one here. We can see in the entire top end, it's a very, very tight spread with everybody from P1 into P10 separated by only 4 tenths, so quite a tight spread. And actually, it's in between from P5 up into P7. There's barely a tenth separating any of them. So yeah, quite impressive. Now we're going to be out of our time in qualifying, so that's going to be our final chance for criminals to improve on their time. That's going to be 2.5 tenths as they go over the finish line. It's going to be putting them out into pole position, but up into the top, where as we see Plasma just at the dying seconds of this race here, able to finally secure that pole position at the very end. So impressive stuff from our Audi R8 driver here. It was looking quite risky if they were able to actually get that run that actually would have won, but they managed to get that just at the end.
Yeah, I think Plasma will go to the very end just to get that pole position, and they have definitely done it. Now the only question is, will that Audi survive the entire race, given how we've seen them bumping around? And it's easy for us to drive very fast here alone, but when you have another driver here behind you as well as next to you, it really comes down to making sure you don't crack under pressure and just try to block out the worries of getting run into the back off, and just make sure that you don't.
Yeah, we are seeing one more driver here out on another improvement on their lap. It's going to be the car number 272 of Mute, now going through the final sector 3 corner on Licks to turn 14, 15, and 16 on another half a second improvement. They're going to be putting quite a few positions up into the, probably not quite into the top 10, unless they can get a really good exit going up into turn 16. Actually, they got a really good entry there, and they seem to be able to carry that speed right up into the exit as well. So that's going to be the final car across the finish, unable to honor an improvement. That's going to be putting it all the way up into P13. So again, very, very close fighting from all of our competitors, but at the end of the day, it's going to be our regular professional esports driver Plasma able to secure a very dominant pole position. Well, not quite dominant, it's only a 10th off from Carlos, so the normal gap we would have seen from our other drivers, not quite so, not so wide as we have seen in the previous competition. So we are seeing definitely how Oulton Park is just mixing up the pack quite a bit and giving drivers who we may not normally see at the top of the pack here just now able to compete for those top positions.
Yeah, as you can see just now, chat, some of the drivers being a little bit vocal. Apologies for the poor language by our drivers here. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very contrasting opinion for the tracks here. And as you can see from the grid, not just from the pole itself, a very big toss-up among the drivers. And yeah, it really just comes down to how they can survive this race coming forward with how bumpy it is, and also the amount of grid drivers we have here. 40 drivers on the grid. It's going to be very scary to see how they survive this, and I hope everyone survives this, because that's what we're here for, to race. It will be no fun to be sitting in the pits 2 laps down as you see the cars go around, so hopefully they will survive it.
Yes, indeed, and looking to have a quick look at our lap time so far, our top pole position time was a 1:33.350, and looking at all the way at the bottom of the track here, we see the Bentley 653 driven by Classic Van getting a 1:46.0, so there is quite a wide gap between our top and lower half drivers here in our grid. So as they're going to be getting ready for the race here, traffic is going to be a major issue on this very short, very narrow track here. It's going to be a lot of blue flags wait between all of our cars here, so that's going to be giving opportunity for cars chasing behind the top of the pack here, maybe like capitalize on like somebody getting caught up in traffic and maybe getting an optimal undercut during a track here. So it's going to be perhaps not quite an on-track battle. There's absolutely going to be a battle of the pit stops here, as we're not going to be getting ready for our lap around this track here with now cars getting ready for our laps. So it's going to be a quick moment here as we get ready to have a track walk to see what everybody is going to be driving for this very exciting race in Oulton Park.
It's going to be very exciting.
Yep, go ahead.
As we see starting P1, we see Plasma in the Audi. Very good livery. Car number 176 going to be the car we're going to look out for. Next up, going to be the Mercedes, one of the favorites of the track. P number 484 is going to be, we're going to see how good they are in making sure that the car stays on track. Number 86, the Ferrari, as we see Fez complaining about how bumpy it is. We're going to see how good it is and making sure that he can survive this race as well. Car number 55 in P4, Tyan in the BMW, another favorite of the track. It's going to be fun to see how they eat the curbs here. Another Ferrari on the grid on P5 of Grimliff in car 115. Very interesting pad driver here, and we'll get to see how they survive this race. Car number 6, P6, car number 21, the BMW of Cafe. Good to see them here. Simon Luck in the Aston Martin in P7. The first Aston off the grid. Really nice to see them here. Hopefully they get a good race. Lunatic, our first silver here in the McLaren. Strong running here as we see them eat the curbs here in qualifying. Spirit in the first Lamborghini here in P8. Very strong run by them. Our car number 621. Next, underscore car 808 in the next Aston Martin. Good to see them here. We had a very good run in the 24 hours of Suzuka, so good to see them here. Azure, very strong opinions about this track. Cars 765 in the McLaren. P12 Joker in the McLaren as well. Car 62. Both of them going to have a good fight here in Oulton Park. Next, our last qualifier in the pros, Mercedes, car 727. As well as Wushel. I didn't see Wushel qualifying. They may have not qualified that strong here in Porsche in 169. Hopefully they get a good run here in the race. P15 Castrol in the car 46 in the Ferrari. And Anka right next to him in the Porsche and car 4FL. Both Porsches falling quite flat here in qualifying. Hopefully they get a good run in the race. In the long run, Auras, our next silver in the car BMW 406, as well as Nate in the McLaren 131. Both going to be fighting strong here for their positions for P3. Vossi, our next silver in the Porsche as well. Pretty strong car. Let's see how they do. And Vex, our first AM driver in P20. Our pole just now, pretty strong. See how they go. Blade Wolf, our winner last time around in silver in P21. Pretty strong. Cesar in the Lamborghini number 6. Electroshock our Ferrari driver, third AM driver here, in number 35, Taichi. I don't think they qualified as well this time around in the Bentley car number 32. Let's see how they run here in the race as we see drivers start to go on the formation line. Actually, very big grid, and it's actually surprising to see Taichi here in P24, I must say.
Yeah, it's going to be a very exciting race so far with everybody now getting ready on their outlet on this very tricky, exciting track for sure. So everybody just get your popcorn, get your sodas, get all of your lively beverages here, because we're going to be now going around this track for the first time in race conditions. And we see Plasma able to get that pole position right at the end here. But do you think there's going to be a chance for Cairo, Fox, Tyne to perhaps compete with it, challenge them into the first runs into turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3 here as the getting ready for our first race?
I think Faz will prefer if we don't fight too hard for the position, because yeah, remember here, we gotta be safe. It is a 1 hour race. As much as we could sometimes call this a sprint, it's still, you know, we gotta play the long game here. It's still an hour long. So Faz will like it if they don't have too much of competition. But I think some of them will be very eager to get past Faz, or just get any sort of position here just to get it over and done with. So I guess it really just comes down to how the drivers behave and how the drivers react to their game plans.
Yes, indeed. Now we're going to be getting ready for our drivers to get ready on their first lap on the track here. Just everybody just trying to warm their tires, just weaving left and right, riding their brakes here, getting those tires and their brake pads up into their optimum temperature to get that absolute best launch. So turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, they're going to be very tricky corners. They're going to be not that wide, so there could be maybe perhaps some 2 wide, 3 wide moments here, but with how fast the turn 1 and turn 2 complex is, so I feel like if the cars are going to be just being aggressively shoving their nose into those 2 corners, we might see some incidents happening around there. So apologies. Just hoping to perhaps see some more cool heads. Perhaps see some more cool heads from our drivers here. Hoping to maybe just take out their fights towards the more wide sections in turn 11, 12, 13, that's going to be the better option for our drivers to hopefully get some overtakes down here instead of having like a really early rush into the first lap.
Yeah, I must say there has been a history of incidents happening in T3, I being one of them that has had incidents happening in T3, but if we are able to play it right, and certain drivers, and not really specific drivers, some drivers, if they think about, you know, the train that might happen in front, if they are able to compensate for it well, we're gonna have a very good race here, but it's gonna be up to anyone's game. As you see here, drivers coming on double file coming into turn 16. It's just such a big grid as we see the drivers all starting to line up as they come from this double file coming into single file. I think it's gonna be I think the drivers are gonna start to be very nervous as they come down into turn 16 as they want to start the race.
Yeah, we also see one of the cars, car number 15. I do believe that is a car of Bossy, who's now starting to pit lane. I don't think they didn't quite have that happening here, but we're gonna have to focus on our race. The start of the race is now going to be everybody now side by side getting ready for that first launch round in Oulton Park. Maybe just get waiting for the screen. That's going to be green. It's going to be now Carl coming a challenging Plasma into the inside of outside of turn 1 here. It's going to be also Fizz now right up on the inside. It's going to be a bit nice and smooth at least on the front of the pack here. Still nothing so far. A lot of dust happening on the background, but everybody seems to be able to get through nice and smooth there. Plasma able to get that initial run into turn 2 and turn 3, able to get that lead. But we got to be seeing that's going to be the car of Tyne Fox right at the bumper of Fizz Fox. And we're now going to be having another look out on the outside, going up towards turn 5. Swing that right long left hand now towards turn 5 with that hairpin. Hopefully, if somebody has a bit of a rush in, but it's looking like, but it's still nice and clean. So we see a bit of some incidents happening at the background with the AM drivers here, but we're going to have to see them there. So that's going to be the car of Tyne Fox. Going to be really close. It's also going to be the car of Grimlet right behind them as well. Going into the up corner, going to be our first opportunities for overtakes happening in this corner complex here, but it seems like everybody was able to get nice and clean here on this first lap around here. We do see actually a couple more yellow flags at the very background. It's going to be a lot of cars. Oh, I do believe something may have happened. It's going to be cars just backing up left and right. We're going to have a look up on the replay to see what exactly happened with them. So let's have a quick look around. They're going to be... yeah, we already saw some incidents happening with our cars on the bracket with somebody already going on white hair, but I'm going to be seeing them not going through the turn 4. It's going to be... oh, unfortunately, they just took that curve a bit too deep. Went up on that very tight left hand going turn 4. Now, unfortunately, losing a lot of time here, but seems to have been able to... yeah, nicely and safe rejoin on the track here and able to avoid any more incidents here. But very chaotic start here, but everybody's still still in the race so far here. Now just able to compete for the first race, or the win of the race.
Yeah, that was very well done by the pros here, keeping it clean all the way. And I think most of the pack actually survived it, and I definitely say very proud of them to be able to finish it all, to keep it all on track. As you see, the competition here actually going strong. Actually, Tyan actually overtook Grimliff at the start here in the race and coming in P4. I think we're going to see more positions here as Lunatic fighting strong with Azure. Oh, side by side down into T4. Very strong. Hopefully Lunatic is able to hold it on the inside down to T5 as they do. Can Azure make a cutback though as Lunatic defends well? No, he does not. And Lunatic actually gains a position from Azure. I think Azure will definitely be fuming under the McLaren right now.
Yeah, it's looking like Lunatic has really been able to unlock everything out of that 720S McLaren, much more than Azure Code has. We see Luna miles ahead of all the other single drivers, currently in P8, with their next competitor Kesu all the way down in P16. So Luna has been able to just massively capitalize on the incredible pace of their car here, now just able to hold off the normally dominant Azure Goat here, just going up now into the turn 13, 14, 15 section here, just hoping maybe Azure Goat hoping to get another run up into here, have another cutback on the car here, but very well done so. But also we see at the front of the grid here, we see Timefox still hounding on the pack of Bestbox. It seems like Bestbox is being a bit of a cork in the bottle for 3, 4, 5 different cars here, just holding them all up and just unable to get those overtakes done.
Yeah, Oulton Park is definitely notoriously hard to overtake through how bumpy it is, but Fez holding it up as strong as he could up in front. I think it's really up to how Tyan reacts to the lack of downforce from following another driver, as well as we see Simon Luck all the way strong in the back of the BMW. We gotta see someone doing a heroic move down to T4 as we see it, like Azure to be able to get a very good overtake here.
Yeah, we see somehow just able to hopefully get in closer to the car of Kathy ahead of them, both of them with a very heavy front engine car, so they should theoretically be in a very good advantage going through this track here, but it's going to be, again, a very narrow Oulton Park track, so overtaking is not going to be too easy with everybody in the front of the pack here to get nice and smooth, but we do see that difference already between the McLarens of Azure Goat and Luna, with Azure having to skirt around that really big curve on the inside of turn 7 here, whereas Lunatic is able to just glide right over that. That's going to be probably the main thing for Lunatic, able to stay in contention of the top 8 here, with Azure just struggling to find any kind of space around their fellow McLaren here to get more runs going up. We also see it down at the further down the grid. We also see Kestrel chasing down Anka in P15, well going towards it, as we also see a bit of another yellow flag incident happening in the background. I think we do believe that is one of our AM drivers again, and an incident, but we're gonna have to see them later, because we're gonna be seeing it's going to be Kestrel again, inching it closer and closer towards the Porsche here, now through the middle sectors of turn 13, 14, and 15 here. We seem to be getting close to another fight here. It's going to be now all up to Anka to see if he can just spread his wings wide and hold off the advance of the Ferrari pylon.
Yeah, I think that Ferrari getting face full of the Porsche going to be very hard, but we'll have to see how Anka holds on as we see Kestrel go wide. That's the one downside about being behind such a big car. You can't really see your braking points. You gotta make sure you're confident in the brakes to make sure that you are able to get your braking points right. As we see Tyan Kathy actually trying to make a move on Grimlift coming to T4 into the hairpin. They might try to get a good cutback here on the exit, but they might have to squeeze in into the complex of 7, 8, and 9. As we see there an incident between P11 Spirit. What happened there?
I'm going to have to see a look on the replay to see what exactly happened with it. They seem to be going on a challenge run going into turn 4 and towards turn 5. That's going to be that tricky part, but it's going to be, that is actually going to be the Lamborghini just going by and hitting a very big hit on the inside barrier of turn 5, and how unfortunate. That's going to be massive damage for the Lamborghini. They're just now leaping back in the pits, and they're unfortunate they seem to be out of that race. So how unfortunate from Spirit. We're going to have to come back to them later, because we're going to be seeing even more action happening here. We're actually going to be seeing the car of Hushu also chasing down on the Mercedes of Newt ahead of them. Everybody just fighting really hard for all of their positions, just hoping to find all the space here. How narrow and tight track is. The pace is going to be so tight between all of them, and the distance is going to be so tight between all of them. It's going to be really hard for everybody to find any chance. But kind of we see now Kestrel having a bit of a challenge on the inside of Anka, now going towards turn 14. Turn 15 is going to be now Kestrel pushing up on the inside, pushing Anka wide. It's going to be almost contact between the two competitors going up on the inside of turn 16, but it seems like Kestrel was able to get that exit just right now, finally able to get that move done on Anka.
Yeah, I think Casual gonna have a sigh of relief finally not having such a big Porsche right in front of them, and they're gonna set their eyes on for Wishel coming next. But definitely very unfortunate for Joker on that incident. You know, just being minding their own business and unfortunately getting caught up into it. But it is part of racing, unfortunately. But as we see, more drivers trying to make a move on Grimliff. Actually, now Grimliff being the bottleneck off the grid. I think we're going to see a lot of moves getting here, as well as we see Lunatic already on the back of Simon Luck. I think we're going to see a very good fight between the four of them. And for positions, I think it's going to be interesting. As we see, actually, Azure trying to take the line as Lunatic. Hopefully, they can see some improvements here. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be all down to just how the setup has been, how setup is different from the McLarens of Azure and Lunatic, which enables Lunatic to be able to tackle those curves much more than Azure can here. But it's going to be all down to Lunatic to probably get away from the Pro and McLaren driver behind him to get back into the fight between Simon Luck, Affy, and Grimliff, now currently fighting for the final spot in the top 5 here. We actually see at the front of the grid here, we see Cairo still chasing down. We also got to see our first lap traffic here with, I do believe that's going to be a car of Z-Source up ahead of them. So that's going to be the Honda NSX Eggful already ahead of them. So we're going to see a couple of lap cars around here. It's going to be giving an opportunity for Cairo to get even closer to the rear bumper of Plasma here. And to have another one here. It's going to be, it's going to be almost contact. It's going to be contact between the Honda of Eggful and Cairo here, causing massive amounts of time between the two competitors, with even more cars coming behind them. So it's going to be massive chaos already, with only barely 10 minutes of the race going, with the lap traffic already causing carnage to our pro competitors.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very hard situation between the slower drivers as well as the faster drivers. There's just really not much place to overtake here, and the pro drivers gotta just sometimes being patient, but at the same time, these guys, as an M driver, just gotta find a good place to get them by. If not, carnage is just gonna happen, as you see here. If we don't do it right, as you see, Lunatic right now down to P9. You know, the gap has spread. Actually, Azure has actually overtaken Lunatic. As we see, the backlead is that Taichi having the moment there into the complex. Yeah, as you can see, the track being unforgiving here. It really is pretty unforgiving, as you see drivers in and out off the track as well. As you see Blade as well being attacked by RS in BMW. All very interesting fights, as you see here in Oulton Park.
Yeah, absolutely. There's fights happening very much all around the track here. We can see from the track map here, everybody's just already spread out quite wide here, but we see it's going to be like everybody, I do believe that's from P10 all the way up into P13, P12. We're all just clustered together, just desperately fighting for positions on track here, with barely any space left between all of them. So it's going to be all down to just maybe very minor mistakes between our competitors, like a tiny wheel on the grass, just a little bit too much on the outside. That's going to compromise their position. Or it could also be a lap traffic, as we saw from Time Fox and Azure got able to capitalize on a bit of an awkward moment from lap traffic, just get around their competitors. Time Fox past Fest Fox and Azure Gold past Lunatic to now get up under their chart, now into the lead of the pack. And we do see a very unfortunate result from Cairo, who lost massive amounts of time from being caught in that lap traffic. But hopefully with a bit more lap traffic, maybe a couple more effects around them, we're going to be able to get that opportunity to catch up onto the back and get back to the challenging pass for the lead here. But we also see at the back it's going to be Taichi, who did not qualify, I do believe, not going to be coming up onto the rear of PP Nature in silver, going through turn 4 towards the break zone of turn 5. It's going to be not enough for Taichi to make a dive hit, but they are getting very close with that very heavy, very big boat, Bentley, to get another overtake up into towards the top 10.
Yeah, if I was there, I'd be scared right now. Having just your entire river will at a very big boat, but it is the nature of the Bentley. Will Taichi make a good dive around Nate? Will Nate, hold the position? I think not, as all the inside is going to be contact between the two of them. Barely, that's really not much place you can go through here. But as you see Blade already on the back of Taichi, if things don't go well, he's going to get eaten up alive. And as you see here, that Blade having a good run, but there's nowhere else to go. A little bit bump into Taichi, and Blade is definitely not pleased with that. For small flash, it's how to get a move on. They do not want to get attacked by RS as well, coming into T15 here. It's going to be a very good fight for P15 in this complex right here.
Absolutely, indeed. We see again Taichi getting even closer towards the rear bumper of PP Nature. We also see Oras Lopez also trying to get closer into the bumper of late move Kageki right behind them as well. We see another bit of a gap forming between the two pairs of drivers here, but it's going to be... It seems like Taiji has the much greater pace from the two cars here. He's just trying to extract everything out of that big boat. Bentley, boldly, as many competitors like to able to get that move done on Nate here, but Nate is not making it easy. We see another really poor exit from them going up into the exit of turn 3. That's going to be giving an opportunity for Taiji to just inch in it closer through turn 4, maybe have another peek into turn 5 here. It's going to be not a lot of space on this track. So it's again not enough for him to get that overtake to stick here, but he's absolutely hounding on the ass of that. We're going to have to come back to them later because we also see at the front of the back, we see some more exciting action happening between Fez Fox and Ty Fox, two different Foxes with two very different machineries here, just hoping to pounce into that final top 3 position here, able to maybe get that went top of the run. We also see Cairo all the way at the front, able to catch up into the rear bumper of Plasma again. That's going to even bypass reawakened for the lead of the race here. We see also more lap traffic coming up ahead here, so it's going to be now all down to these two competitors to see if they can navigate that traffic just right and keep their positions.
Yeah, I think Plasma is going to be stressed out of their mind right now, trying to get any sort of advantage as they can, trying to get through lap traffic as efficiently as possible, trying to get any sort of thing to hold back the Mercedes that is really hounding right behind them right now in Oulton Park, and it's gonna be a very good fight between the two, I hope. But 47 minutes to go, time will tell, especially the fact that you have to pit here, so I think that's gonna help reset the grid, maybe do a couple of undercuts here and there as the pit window opens. Who knows, as we see them coming into traffic, coming down into T5. Black traffic doing really well getting out of the way for a lot of drivers, but they're gonna hold down Fez Fox coming into T7 here. It's gonna be very interesting how fast be able to lap through the traffic as well.
Yes, indeed. It seems like Plasma and Carlo able to both navigate that lap traffic quite well here now. Carlo is still just getting closer and closer towards the bumper of Plasma here, but we also see Ty Fox right behind them, able to capitalize on the fight happening between Plasma and Cairo here. Now also up in that top 3 fight. We also see a yellow flag car, and I believe that's going to be Neo stop on the track at the moment. They are about to see how that really begins. That they're going to be actually coming up right up on the track here with as Cairo, Plasma, and Ty are both just right on the outside. That's hopefully Neo can just stay out of the way. Oh, they almost have contact between the different cars here, able to rejoin that track on the absolute worst moment here. But it seems like everybody was able to get around them just fine enough here. But we see again more lap traffic again with everybody just getting really spread out here. That's going to be the Honda NS6. I do believe that's going to be the Honda of Eggfuller again. And he goes into another lap traffic fight between the top of the pack here. So hopefully this time they're going to be able to get through without any more incidents.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's going to be on the same location again, turn 2 and 3. But hopefully, with how damaged that Honda is, hopefully they're able to get out of the way as soon as possible as they try to stay on the outside. As we see just the whole train from P1 all the way to P8. This is going to be a very interesting fight here in Oulton Park, and see all the drivers, as you tie in, gang fight, very good fight, trying to get past him. As you see Fez on the back of Tyan, all very close to each other now, the pack bunching up back up again, and it's really just down to just go down to who has the good run on exit and who keeps their composure, right, and who has the better setup. You see all the drivers are taking very big leaps on the curbs, and I don't think the tires will survive this if they keep doing this long enough.
Yes, we do see that's actually going to be a very close fighting happening between the cars of Kathy and Grimlet about further down the grid as well. I do believe there was a bit of a peak that Kathy tried to do going up into Hilltop and towards turn 10, but they didn't quite be able to manifest that overtake so far. But at the front of the pack, it definitely seems like Plasma is not able to get away from the pack as they normally would have been able to expect them, as they would have only been able to do in previous races. We see another blue flag moment here between BMW M4 here, but it's going to be again. Plasma is going to be just sweating bullets in an Audi. They would have been able to just get away, drive safely, drive clean, and just secure themselves a very dominant lead here. But this is not the case in Oulton Park. Oulton Park is going to be the big equalizer in this case. With just hounding on the rear of that Audi, just hoping to hold off that advance.
Yeah, as I was going to say, the Audi is definitely not the car that people favor here because of how bumpy it is. It's a very short wheelbase car, and it's going to be very nervous around all these corners, and it's a miracle that Plasma is already holding it all the way up to P1. But as you can see, if he had to make sure he had P1 because it's a really tracked position already the track here. As you can see, all the way from P1 to P7, it's really hard to overtake here. It's going to be a very long train, and it's really just goes down to how well do the cars survive throughout their stint as they come into 30 minutes remaining before they have to pit in, before the pitting opens, and it's going to be down to who can able to perform the undercut really well and get away from the train to get their fastest lap before everyone pits, I think.
Yes, we do actually just barely missed an overtake happening between Vesfox and Lilith. I do believe that was in the exit of Britain's here where was able to get that overtake up into Vesfox and now up in the top 4 positions here. We can also see Kathy Simon also as well, still in that top 10 fight so far here. Everybody is clustered together really close. It's going to be another peak coming up from Kathy, forcing Vesfox to go on an defensive inside line into turn 16 here. So everybody's definitely feeling the pressure. I think most of our competitors are just counting down the minutes, the seconds towards the opening of that pin winner. That's going to be another peak coming up from Kathy into the 8th line of turn 1. It's going to be contact between the two competitors. Vesfox forced to go wide. It's going to be Simon and Asher going also chance just swinging wide round on the Ferrari. Almost contact between the McLaren of the Asher goal as well here. Vesfox kind of struggling and losing so much time from that little bit of contact now, all the way at the back of this patch here.
Yeah, one mistake, one incident really cost you a lot here, as you see him falling from the middle of the train all the way to the back. The upside for Faz is that it's not that far out to go out there. A lot of positions here, as you see him trying to claw their way back from getting the small incident. It really is going to be a very big challenge for Faz. And as you see the Ferrari struggling really hard here with how much curves they are, as you see Azure missing. Giving out space. Alright, as Faz capitalizes on their mistake, getting the position back. It's going to be a slow and long overtake run for Faz just to get back to the position as they really desire.
Yes, indeed. Also, see an overtake happening between Kestrel and Mushu up into the helicopter section as well here. We just missed that, but I do believe most of our competitors just counting down the minutes towards the opening of that pit wall. That's going to be happening in 1 minute and 15 seconds, and we're probably going to be seeing a lot of our top runners here just dive into the pits early, get that undercut done, and just get driving cleaner so they can just get out of this gigantic traffic jam that has happened. As we actually going to be seeing, it's going to be Grimliff going up into the exit of turn 16, giving the opportunity for Cappy to swing around on the outside, get that overtake done just for his going to get another tiniest bit of mistake, just swinging that race wide open for Primitive. Now it's going to be under threat from Simon Lock behind them, going up towards a second lap towards turn 2 and 3 here, just hoping to maybe hold off here. It's going to be I'm going to be seeing probably a lot of these competitors just driving into the pits as soon as that pit window opens to get that undercut.
Yeah, definitely, and I think the theme here this week is going to be one mistake first on the train to the very last on the train. That doesn't mean that your race is over, but it's going to cost you a lot of positions and it's going to give you a lot of stress given how, as you see lap traffic here, oh my god, how are they going to get past as the traffic makes sure they stay predictable as they come into the complex. I don't think some of the drivers will be very pleased about their positions, but they have to pull through, and it's not much place to go through, and as you see Fez fighting again with Azure, unlucky for them, but they gotta fight through. As you see, Azure might get boxed up by lap traffic. Fez unable to do anything about it. So you're just gonna see Fez concede for the position, and we're gonna have to try again. As you see, a small tap by Fez, and Fez is getting really frustrated here, and they have to keep it cool just to make sure they survive another 40 minutes into this race.
And we also see another car spinning out in the background. I do believe that was one of the lap traffic cars who just hoping to get away from that car. We also see one of our first drivers now finally diving into the pits here, getting these first. Again, we saw those undercuts happening from Juan Lee, from Joker, from Electroshow, all hoping to get away into clean air and get up into the fight here. We've got to be also seeing Cairo also dive into the pits. One of the first people from the pack. But you see that's actually Plasma opting to stay ahead of the pack here and just keep hoping to really extend more of that lead here now that they are finally not being challenged immediately by anybody. But we still see Tiny Fox right behind them, hoping to maybe get ahead and hoping to maybe capitalize on the best overtake here. We also see, quite curiously, we see Cairo being able to get the fastest lap time so far of a 33.5 with Plasma only able to get a 33.8, so it seems very much like the best choice for Cairo and for Vesfox to get into the pits to stay in clean and hope to get an overtake in the undercut.
Yeah, I think the undercut here is going to be very strong, but you have to also remember, if as much as you want the undercut here, You still have another 4 minutes remaining to this race. Will your tires survive here? If you do an undercut, you might get the track position, but will your tires survive to the end of the race? I think it really comes down to setup, as well as the car, as well as the driver, to make sure that they can survive it. As well as we see Plasma here coming into the complex. More drivers into the pits, as we see Eggful and Honda getting disqualified. We have to maybe double check what has happened there. Number car 35 getting a drive-through. I didn't check that. But I think it's gonna be interesting to see the penalties as we see in the Still Racing chats over time. This race, Simon Luck P5, pretty strong here. Gonna try to capitalize on the issues that Grim Lilith has in P4. You know, been pretty good run from Simon. Pretty silent right now, but how do you think Simon will end up?
Simon is usually a very cool-headed driver, so I could see them maybe just, if they can just keep their nose key, they're going to be having another strong top 5 result in this race as well. We're actually going to see Kyle now caught up in a lot of traffic as well around the, as he just another yellow flag. I don't know if it's going to be another car off the track. It's going to be another one of the BMW. That's going to be the BMW Casp, unfortunately, off the track, but Kyle was able to get just around. We also see J-Box move over to the side of the track here, so a lot of cars just diving out of the way. I'm not sure if they're just very aggressively diving off the track here to get out of the way of the faster cars here, but it's going to be all up to Kyle, who seems to have a very busy track ahead of them to see if they're going to be able to capitalize on that undercut and get past their competitor Plasma. So we're going to be watching their deltas very close. We're actually going to be seeing at the front, it's going to be Bossy also getting up onto the back of Swingley here. They've been having quite a race. They had that unfortunate pit lane start, so it's going to be all damage mitigation for our TCAM Racing Silver competitor here. Hopefully they not get another swing up into, well, swing around and swing big point towards turn 3 and turn 4 here, but they're not quite close enough for that overtake here. But looking at their previous lap time so far, Vossi has been able to get a 35.2 with Swing having a 36.5, so I'm not going to be expecting them to have much difficulties getting around the car here.
Yeah, definitely. I think the pace difference is going to help a lot. As you see, actually, a car in actually, no, that's not a yellow flag. That's just a glitch in the system. As we see more cars diving into the pits. Oh, good fight between Cairo as well. Not Cairo, that's Tyan coming in for trying to make a move on Plasma. Maybe Plasma going out wide. How many times will Plasma go out wide before they get a drive through? Who knows? But they have to be very careful to not get too much warning here. So track limits are also gonna have issues regarding, despite having, holding on for P1 for so long.
Yes, indeed. We see Tire Boxers able to catch up onto the back of Plasma again, so it's very much looking like that. Plasma is the ultimate cork in the bottom for all of our other core drivers so far. With Plasma just extracting every ounce of pace from the Audi R, but it's still not going to be enough for the BMWs, for the Ferraris, for the Astons to stave off that assault. So it's just going to be everybody just hoping to just get around that Plasma. But Plasma is known to be a very good defensive driver, so it's not going to be easy, especially around Oulton Park, to get around that Audi, as we see a lot more lap traffic again happening in front of it. Everybody's just mixed up in so much traffic around. It's just going to be almost down to luck to see who can just get just absolutely right moment, as we see more Aston Martins just diving away from the lead of the pack fight. We also see there's going to be the more Aston Martins going to be the cars all the way down in. That's going to be P34, 24, 23, all just right in front of the lead of the pack here. So hopefully they can all just get around them just nice and safe here. We see another Aston. It's going to be the Aston just, that's going to, excuse me, that's going to be the BMW going, almost causing contact between the Grimlin and Cyberlunk ahead of them, almost causing a major accident. So it's going to be utter carnage with all of our competitors just hoping to get around these lap traffic cars. Obviously, now we see finally Plasma up to dive into the pits. Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, as you see car here, score into the barrier. Unfortunate for them. At least they're close to the pit entry here, so they might just try to get into it as fast as they could, just to mitigate any sort of time loss they could have in the pits. A bit too wide here, too bumpy for the McLaren to snap, and that's going to be very unfortunate for underscore. Hopefully they could get it repaired just in time. As you see here, I think they are coming into the pits, luckily at the final corner, but we'll see how they go. Wushel now up to P4. Hopefully they can stretch their legs before they come into the pits. The Porsche is pretty strong here if you can keep the tires clean. So hopefully they could keep it clean and get the answer to Castro as they start to close in to the middle of the race. 3 minutes left into our pit window. I think it's really up to see who really is left to do the pit stops. Cairo T17. Actually, is that P17 right now? Yeah, P14 right now. Number 14. Actually, P14. Starting to climb up. The pit box is actually pretty messed up right now because of how many drivers are in the pits.
As we see, actually, Cairo and Fastbox caught up right into next to each other. Yes, we see the Fastbox getting really close up into the rear of. I think they might have a bit of a peak. But in the turn four, that's not going to be able to quite manifest that update so far. But we'll also see the car 8 of Luna also in front of us. So it's going to be Simon Lock, and if I am correct, it's going to be Simon Lock and Luna both also have served their pit box and pit stops. So now it's going to be all down to these competitors just hope to get around these cars as fast as possible. We also see there's going to be a bit of an inflow of Zebra ahead in that GTR themed livery. It's going to be it's going to be so close fighting between all of them. But it seems like Azure was able to be the one that capitalized the most from the carnage. Now Azure able to get quite a big lead from all of our other competitors at the back. It's going to be now Unity quite surprised me diving out of the way here. Now, unfortunately, losing those positions to Cairo, not going to be also going around Fastbox, so perhaps he's going to be just realizing this is not his fight, so he's just going to back out and just focus on his own silver, because they currently are still in provisional silver lead with all the other silver drivers who are better than have not yet served their pit stop. So it's going to be Luna just thinking about that long race.
Yeah, I think Luna has the right idea, making sure that they, just not have unnecessary risk. If you're fighting for the pros, especially in such a bumpy track, you may or may not get caught up in incidents, and it's just best to just let them by, fight their own fight. As we see actually during the carnage, we see P19 Taichi getting a stop go 30 for speeding in the pit lane. That is going to be very unfortunate for Taichi. Hopefully they're able to get it served as soon as possible and just have not much issues in their race. Simon getting past Cairo. As you see a mastermind in the grass right here, I think they are getting out of the way as soon as possible for the amount of drivers they are coming up into this section, but that is in turn going to cause a yellow flag, I suppose, and that's going to freeze up the race for the small time moment as they come into the very busy T5. Oh my god, the amount of blue flags here just to get out of the way. It's basically a traffic jam in a very major city, and it's going to be very fun to see them race.
Yes, indeed. There's just so many different cars also on the same lap, on different laps, on lead laps, on back-end laps. Everybody just hoping to get around that same turn 5 complex here with Fastbox unfortunately being able to be on the worst end of that deal now, losing quite a lot of time to the Simon Lock and Cairo ahead. But it's going to be Simon Lock and Cairo now caught up in their own fight, giving Fastbox the opportunity to catch up again, get back up into that fight, into the top 10 here. We also see we don't have a lot of cars left who have not yet served their pit stops, but we do see, if I have another quick reference on my pit stop, that I do believe if Grimlid, who is currently now on a clean track with not really many other cars slowing them down, that if Grimlid can get this kind of very good clean clean pit stop so far, it's going to be the opportunity for him to perhaps even inherit the lead if they get a really good pit stop so far. As we actually going to see Time Fox also in the pits now, having served their pit stop, now falling back behind Plasma, but we see also Kathy still on that charge with Plasma in front of them. So it's going to be all down to if Kathy can slow down Plasma enough for Grim Lilith to assume the lead of the race here once they get to the pits.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very interesting here. Few drivers, Castrol, I think missed the corner right there. That's going to be very interesting. But yeah, speaking back into the lead, it's going to be very interesting to see how all the drivers here survive their fight. It's going to be interesting. Plasma already done their pits, but Grim Lilith right now in P1. Very clean track, but is their lap time going to be enough? I think they've been really good with traffic, so hopefully they are able to. This is going to be a very interesting fight for P1 as the pit window closes in 9 minutes time. Coming into P23 Swingley. Very big fight against around here. Very big train here for P22. All the big cars is BMW as well as a Bentley. It's going to be very interesting. And who do you think is going to be winning out in this train?
I mean, the pro driver Taichi Agami seems to be the one just kind of have the most pace, so he's going to be just getting absolutely everything. As we see almost contact happening between the BMW and the Bentley into the exit of turn 16 here, just barely able to avoid that. But it's going to be very likely for Taichi Agami to get out of that pack here and get back up to the fight towards P10, top 10, because they had that unfortunate stop go penalty probably from speeding in the pit lane. So it's going to be again another bit of damage mitigation as we're not going to see more cars lining the pits from the top of the pack, and that's going to be now Plasma able to actually still able to inherit that lead going up into the with Azure Goat and Grimlet now serving both their pit stops here. It's going to be good to see yellow flags coming in from Fox, who seems to have had another incident happening from the track here. We're going to have another look on the reef to see what exactly happened with it. So let's have another look through on our camera so we can see what happened. I do believe that's going to be... It's going to be on the exit of turn 6. It's going to be actually Cairo having a really big off moment on the exit of turn 16, giving Fox the opportunity to catch right up onto the Mercedes here. But it's going to be now Fox going up on the outside. Ooh, almost having contact between Cairo. But it's going to be, unfortunately for Fox, just being too eager on that outside move, compromising their line into turn 1 and then spinning out all the way to the back of the pack. How unfortunate from them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that is the unfortunate downside of having such a stiff car. Just any sort of mistakes, any sort of off track is gonna get you spinning. But fortunate for Fez, no damage. I think Fez will definitely, still have half an hour to get back, some positions, even though you won't be where you ideally want to be. At least you won't have your entire race thrown out. As you see right here, P2 Cathy still on the back of Plasma, still fighting very strong here. Definitely showing that having no issues is definitely the way to go here. As you see, Cairo right now in P7, away from their usual their previous P2, but hopefully they're able to climb up as much as they can in the 27 minutes that are remaining to this race. 7 minutes now remaining to the pit window. I think most of our drivers have served the pit stops that they're supposed to, and I think it's going to be right now a sprint to the very, very end, as we see some drivers a bit off from their starting positions.
Yes, indeed, and I have another quick look on my statistics, and indeed everybody has now served their pit stop so far, so this is going to be now the finishing order of all of our cars here. So say for any more overtakes happening, as we kind of see Plasma getting around another lap traffic car here towards turn 5. So it's going to be Cathy now on their charts, with we see quite a bit of matching pace between the BMW M4 and the Audi R8 here. So it's going to be all down to if Plasma is going to make a very, very mistake. We've not seen pretty much any mistakes happening from the esports professional driver here so far, so it's going to be all down to Cathy to just get as close as possible to the Audi R8 in front of them, and maybe force them to go a bit too deep on the brakes, perhaps going a bit too fast on an entry in the corner here. We'll hopefully find and capitalize on the opportunity to get that overtake done, because I don't see any other opportunity for Cathy to get that overtake done on that. As we do see another car ahead, it's going to be another car on the one. It's going to be Audrey. Seems like we've got swung quite wide, able to just purely avoid that fight happening from the cars here. But yeah, as I was saying, it's going to be all down to if Cathy can just force a mistake on Plasma.
I think forcing a mistake on Plasma is definitely really hard. The only time you can force Plasma to have a mistake is going onto the pit entry, but I think that has been a pass for Plasma. But yeah, as you see, such a big BMW unable to get past the Audi, you really have to make a move on maybe a fake move on the inside just to scare Plasma to even be able to even make the move. But right now, it's just going to be a very long run for the next 25 minutes. Hopefully, he's able to capitalize on it when the tires start to wear. But that's going to be a long hope, as you see Azure right in the background. I think they're going to catch up soon as they fight strongly. Oh, what is that? Who's that? That's Cass in P30 as well, caught up with Neo on P31. That is the notorious T4 here, as they see, I think Sumi wide here. And they do run wide. Unfortunate for them. Into the grass they go. Did they collect someone on the way in? Hopefully they did not. And they break just in time. I think we saw someone right next to them. As we see as well, Mayo. Both drivers actually running out wide. Good thing they saved it just in time though. Minimal damage. And hopefully they get able to recover on track. It's a very busy track right now.
Yes, indeed. Quite lucky for them both to be able to get away from that fight, get away from their incidents. But we're actually going to have to come back to them. It's going to be Cathy getting really close into the bumper of Plasma here, having a bit of a peak going up into turn 15 here, but still not close enough to make a move here. There's going to be yet more lap traffic having that right in front of Plasma. It's going to be really unfortunate part of the track here all the way in turn 60. It's going to be now the BMW M4 with now Cathy will have to make a defensive move. It's a swerving action on the inside here. Able to avoid that contact. It's going to be giving Plasma a little bit of breathing room, but he's not out of the woods yet. It's going to be now Cathy again, pulling that pace, pulling that gap right back up. It's going to be another BMW M4 ahead of Plasma going up into turn 2, turn 3. To that sweeping left hand. It's going to be now the cork in the bottom for Plasma, hoping to maybe get around that car as fast as possible. It doesn't seem like the flags are being waved, but that Plasma, but that BMW M4 is not moving, so this could be just the opportunity that Cathy needs to just get around here, unless they're just going to be dubbing in wide, going up into turn 5. It's still, it's going to be close. It's going to be then actually diving on the grass to get out of the way of the lead cars. But we're actually going to see Azure Gold also behind them, back in that fight for top 3 here. Now top 2 here. They will probably get maybe close enough to these 2 cars to maybe capitalize on any mistakes they might have.
Yeah, I think Azure got lucky with the pit stop as well. The blue flags being right now in P3. It is very unfortunate for Cairo, but they are fighting hard right now with Simon in P6. I think we're going to go take a look at that point. Right now, exchanging positions as well, and down into the straights into this very complex section into T10, 11, and 12. It's going to be a very long fight for the 2 of them. I think Cairo will not be happy from the fact that they were from P2 coming down into P7 at this point, but it's something they have to contend on for now. Coming into T15, 14, 15, where would they be able to overtake? You know, given how both are very strong on acceleration, I think it's going to be seeing how good Cairo is able to make a move and scare Simon, as we see both fighting P4 in Tyen as well as Grimiliv. And is that a little bit damage I see in front of Grimiliv's car?
Yeah, I do believe they have that slight tap somewhere that caused them to have a bit of damage. So it's going to be now Grimiliv and Timefox going side by side through turn 1 here, with Grimiliv able to get that better exit into turn 1 and be able to re-inherit that lead into top 4, getting back up into that chase for top 1, top 2 here. But we're actually going to be seeing again Kathy just hoping to get a tiny bit of gap again into Plasma, but Plasma again shutting that door, not giving the space that Kathy needs to make that overtake stick. So it's going to be yet again another lap stuck behind that seemingly track-wide Audi R8, not able to get that overtake to stick. It's going to be all of these fights are just going to be Azure Gold slowly catching them again, slowly screaming, hauling them back in and hoping to maybe capitalize on those mistakes as we saw happening earlier. Also, because this will be a bit of a habit. Actually, we see something happening to Joker. Well, yeah, they were actually caught in one of the unfortunate incidents in the race, so it's going to be now Joker catching up into the back of the AM grid here, hoping to damage limitation. Do as much damage limitation as possible going up into here. As we're going to see, it's going to be Electroshock swinging wide on the exit of Britain's section here, giving Joker a very easy pass.
Yeah, it's going to be code brown for Joker right now. But I was going to say, going back into the fight for P1, P2, last lap for Plasma was 134.5. And the last lap for Kathy was a 134.3. I think Kathy is definitely getting held up by Plasma very strongly here. And I think being too close to Plasma is not going to be advantageous for Kathy, given that they're going to miss their braking point as well as traffic. And I think just the way these 2 cars drive definitely makes for Kathy having a very big gap between the 2 of them, just to make sure that they don't have any issues. But it really just shows that right now Plasma is the one holding everyone up, as we see Zezors going wide here. Almost, is it going to tap the wall? No, saves it just before getting the incident down into T15 right here.
Yeah, watching the replay, they seem to have just gone a bit too fast into the exit of... actually, it's going to be both the Aston Martin, Herbert Romeo, and Zezos both just compromised their exit. I do believe that was the exit of turn 50 here that caused them to just spin out and lose a lot of time here. We saw a bit of a fight happening between the 2 of them, but we're going to have to come back to them later, because it's not going to be, again, a fight reawakening between Simon Locke and Timefox. I'm able to gain a bit of a gap onto the Mercedes AMG of Cairo behind them, and maybe just get away from them. But it's going to be again more traffic, more cars ahead, so nobody has clean air on this track. Everybody caught up in traffic, just going to be bunching up everybody together. Everybody's just going to be sweating bullets trying to just get these overtakes done.
Yeah, with such a small, with such a big grid, such a small track, you really do not have any breathing room. As you can see, even on the track, there's really just not much in the stretch of the map where there's no drivers here, and that really shows you how much traffic there is and the amount of incidents we have right here. But it's for a very good race, a very fun race, a very interesting race, and for the driver it's going to be a nightmare, but it is power racing after all, and I think we're all here for it.
Absolutely indeed. And at the front of the packet, we still see Kathy losing a bit of time, it seems like, to Plasma, with Plasma getting a 34.1 and Kathy getting a 33.9, but it's going to be again a bit more flat traffic around the cars going up into turn 2 and turn 3, but it seems like both were able to get around just nice and clean here. But it seems like Kathy's falling behind a little bit with their... Actually, it's going to be their last lap. Kathy at 33.9 and Plasma a 34.1. Actually, I was mistaken. Yeah, I do apologize for that. But yeah, actually, you're seeing another BMW in for going wide on the exit of turn 5 here. Need those barriers up on the inside. It's going to be in for that again. More cars diving out of the way of this lead pack. And that's going to be Zephyr up ahead of Plasma and Pine Fox here. Hoping to now maybe find that right spot on the track to dive out of the way here with both of the cars now flashing their lights, hoping they find that right spot here. But it's going to be, again, very, very tough racing. It's going to be almost as much just navigating lap traffic as it is about defending from the car behind you.
Yeah, I think it really just comes down to luck. Hopefully, some of the drivers do not have any incidents, but when incidents happen, it's gonna be very, very unfortunate for drivers. As we see right now, actually, Cafe gonna get held up by Zephyr, I think, for the next couple of sections. But I think Plasma's gonna be very happy for that small breather. Right now, Cafe is already 1 second behind Plasma, but no doubt, Cafe's gonna gain back the time that they've lost, given that they don't have a Plasma in front of them anymore. Vex right now, P16, still strong running from the AM driver. I'm glad they're still holding out well this time around, being able to stay up in front in the top of AM. Glad to see them there. Hopefully they're able to finish this race 17 minutes remaining in very good condition, I would say.
Yeah, they have been doing pretty well so far, just able to get their car in one piece through the entire carnage of this entire race here. Currently still leading the AM class race at the moment here with their fellow competitor Zephyr. I do believe they're just quite far behind, and almost 8 to 9 seconds off from the BMW, like the 296 of Vex here at the moment. We're also going to be giving a bit of a highlight to Lunatic, who has been having a kind of a quiet race so far after their very exciting start of the race here. But now they're currently still leading their silver class race at the moment. A very quiet race so far. There's no other cars immediately around them to overtake or have battles with, but we do see in the background it's going to be the cars of Mushu and the Kestrel. Slowly, it seems like they're slowly able to catch up onto the McLaren 720S of the Luna so far. Actually, they're just trying to navigate around that lap traffic again here. So there could be a bit of a fight happening, reawakening between the couples Luna and Mushu as we're getting ready for the final 50 minutes of our race here, with still plenty more action left to go.
Yeah, plenty more action, and I think Luna was starting to get a little bit comfortable in no man's land, and Porsche was trying to start to show up and remind them that, hey, it's time to wake up. 50 minutes remaining does not mean you can relax here, and I think it really shows you how much traffic here. P4, Grim Lilith, right now on the back of Azure. Will they be able to make a move in the next 15 minutes? I think it will be a very tall effort, as Azure will not want to get the last podium spot, give that last podium spot away to Grim Lilith, but Lilith will definitely want to have that position as well. Both very, very nervous drivers in the engine cars. The McLaren a bit more stable than the Ferrari, but it really comes down to the drivers to make sure that they can stay on track to make sure they can secure the last podium spot.
Yes, indeed. We're actually seeing Grimlith just hoping to get a bit of a run up into Azure, going up into the exit of turn 5 here. Almost another close contact between the BMW of a lap traffic car here, but it's going to be getting Grimlith getting really close up into the back of Azure Core. But again, with how narrow Oulton Park is, they're just not able to find that right spot on the track to get that move done here. But it's going to be, again, something we've seen a lot before. It's just going to be maybe just down to luck. See if they're able to just get around just on the right side where the lead car gets caught up in traffic, or there's going to be just a slight bit of mistake happening. As we're going to see a yellow flag from Simon Luck. I do believe they had, I'm not quite sure what happened there. We're going to have to see a replay because they had just lost a lot of time there. So let's have a refresher on our so that's going to be, that seemed to be a bit of a small connection issue because they have went off into the stratosphere, but they seem to have trucked that off nice and small here, despite that P4 into the underground, as they would have called it.
Yeah, the Sheldon definitely had a small talk with Simon, told him to get back into the track. It's not their time just yet. But I was going to go back to the fight for P3. Actually, last lap, Azure had a 1:34.9 and Grim has a 1:34.0. Both almost a second gap difference. I think Grim Lilith, if they play the card right, is just going to overtake Azure as if they're standing by. But I think time will tell for that lap to happen. But coming up into the fight for them, both really strong. Hopefully, they're able to get some good fighting in, but it seems like the gap between them has to increased slightly, maybe from flat traffic, maybe not, but as you can see, the traffic in front is slowly building up. They have a small breathing room. I think if actually the move needs to happen, it has to happen now, just so that they don't get caught up in traffic as they fight.
Yeah, we do see Grimlith perhaps caught up in a bit of, actually probably caught up in a bit of traffic on that lead that caused Grimlith to catch up all that difference in the previous lap here. So it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of pace they're going to be having on these laps now that they're both together. And it does look like, looking at our previous lap time, this is going to be Grim Lilith getting a 34.4 and Asherco getting a 34.3. So they are pretty evenly matched in pace. But I do believe that's going to be a Bentley. I do believe that's the Bentley of Taichi Yagami. But ahead of them now, will be probably being a bit of a cork in the bottle for these two competitors, and maybe giving the opportunity for Grim Lilith to have a pounce on the Luna Enthusiast McLaren ahead of them. We've seen quite a lot here, where it's just going to be that's one awkward moment with the lap traffic car that's giving the opportunity for to make an overtake. As we see Grim Lilith actually making a bit of a mistake into the exit of turn 15. A bit of a wheel on the grass here, costing them a lot of time here now, losing that fight. That's going to be now Time Fox getting a bit closer still to the Ferrari 296 ahead of them. So it's going to be seem to be a three-way fight for the top three position here. But actually going to see Caffey still not able to find that move around Plasma Raider when about in another lap around behind them. But it's going to be getting really close into their back, not going up all the exit. But it's going to be a bit of a wiggle on the exit of turn 4 here, causing them not to be able to get as close as they would have wanted. It's going to be the straight line speed of that Audi already keeping them a lot of a big sigh of relief, giving them the opportunity to just get away on all of these straight line sections here, and hoping to maintain their lead because of that.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting for the two of them. Both very strong on the power, but the stability of the BMW definitely helped a lot in terms of keeping the car alive. But as well as, we could say the same for Plasma, the nimbleness of the Audi, being able to navigate these tight chicane sections as you see here in T10, 11 and 12, as well as the previous complexes before, 7, 8 and 9. All very, very, very complex, and if you are able to make the moves right, you are going to gain a lot of time here. As Electroshock P23 coming in, might be trying to get a move on to enter Midnight, both running out wide as we see a small tap. Oh no, that's going to be a problem as Anchor coming in at the back as well, going to be caught up between the blue flag situation here. Unfortunate for Electroshock, but they definitely have to make a move somewhere else, and that was really a half-effort dive that they have there. Hopefully they're able to clean the act up and try to make a move again on P22. 11 minutes left into this race. Really, maybe may see a move on Caffey, but right now we see Ty and Fox on the back of Grim Lilith. Guys, I think Ty's gonna try to make a move just to get the position for P4 soon, maybe. Coming into the exit into T2. I think it's going to be very interesting as you see here.
Yeah, we do see probably from the more inexperienced AM drivers, they're going to be making more of those really daring dives into the insides of turns here. We see not as much of that from the top of the pro and the solo drivers as we saw. If you just do those dives a little bit too early, you're going to be causing contact, you're going to be causing that incident that's going to be causing even more time than you would have if you just had kept your head cool and just found a better spot around the track to overtake. And that's going to be one of the realities in Oulton Park. It's just there's not going to be almost any opportunity, any places to overtake it. There's going to be a bit of a chance into breaking sort of turn 10 here. We get like a really good run up in the section here. But as we see with Tide Fox, if you compromise that line a little bit too much, it's going to be all that progress thrown away. So it's going to be the tiniest bit of margins here between all of our competitors. Just find that tiny bit of space to get those overtakes done here. So we're going to be seeing Electroshock again getting up into the back of Enjamita here, getting it for another run through turn 4 and turn 5. Let's see if they're going to be getting it through more cleanly this time. It's going to be Enjamita getting bit of a better entry here, and it's going to be Electroshock now keeping their head cool and not getting that inset again this time. So it's going to be again a fight reawakened between the two, and maybe another maybe a lunatic happen there to see if they either car can get a better exit going up into Hilltop. That seems to be the best opportunity for either one to make an overtake.
Yeah, and definitely having a good run here into T10 maybe, but the BMW stretching its wings out. Hopefully to get in, stay in front, enter Midnight, but Electroshock being the more composed driver might make a move here if they're able to get past enter Midnight squabbling around on track. Hopefully be able to stay alive with both of them coming down into T13, T14, and I think that's going to happen pretty soon. Joker coming into recovery, taking P20s I think into Cooper in the BMW. Really unfortunate for Joker to have any to have incidents early on into the race, but Cooper not giving away that position just yet. You know, still want to try to fight for positions as they could, even though they are in P20. I think Joker is gonna not have a good time overtaking, but as they did, Cooper just let them by. Right now, Joker coming into P20, slowly getting the positions up, but hopefully able to catch up with Taichi 9 minutes time for P17. Electroshock still behind Answer Midnight. Side by side right now coming into T2. Hopefully they are able to fight just right. Oh, just better brakes on the BMW compared to the Ferrari. Now they're gonna get cut back, but coming to T2, will Electroshock be able to make the move again? No, they pull back for blue flags right now as we see the car of, I think, Auras is getting by here in the BMW as well.
Yes, that is indeed the car of Auras behind. That's really going to be getting contact between the two cars, almost overhanging contact intervention of team fights. Again, this is exactly what we want to talk about. It's going to be that one slight moment with getting away from lap traffic, or lap traffic giving away to you, that gives Electroshock the opportunity to just drive up on the inside of the turn while they're finally getting that overtake to stick onto Enter Midnight. So just finding that right opportunity and just pouncing on that immediately. And well done from Electroshock for able to get that move to stick.
Yeah, that was definitely amazing. That was a very textbook, very good move, taking the opportunity as you can. And I think they really got Enter Midnight caught out there, and that's definitely a wonderful move, I must say. As we see Cafe still at the back of Plasma, 8 minutes remaining. They have to make a move. If they don't do it now, it's gonna be now or never. And unless Cafe is okay with staying in P2 right now, I think they really have to make a move as soon as possible. There is a bunch of lap traffic in front of them right now, right this instant. Cafe will be really praying for them to make it hard for Plasma, but I think we all know here that the traffic here are very lenient. They are very courteous, and I'd say it's a blessing and it's a curse for the cars fighting here. And I think this time around, Cafe will really wish that they were a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be probably down to just luck if Cafe is going to be able to get around this lap traffic, or to have the lap traffic slow down Plasma enough to get that move done here. As we're going to see another BMW now going up into the exit of turn 15 here, just again slowing both of the cars down and just really compromising the exit for Plasma. Now we're side by side around this car here, giving the opportunity for Cafe to get holding a little bit closer. It's going to be Cafe on an awkward entry into turn 16. That's going to be compromising their exit speed and giving Plasma the opportunity to just get away again. Unable to get that move to stick with more lap traffic compromised in the line for Cappy. We're going to have to come back to that later. We're going to be seeing again a bit of a fight happening between Joker and Swing. We see Joker going quite wide into the exit of turn
12.
Turn 12, yeah. Turn 12, yes. Losing a lot of time here, but yeah, we're getting close to another move up on this arm driver here, get back up to the top 20, but unfortunately they'll stop. Actually, we're going to see a bit of a fight happening between Ashergo, Grimliv, and Tyvox now all caught up in their three-way fight with only 7 minutes left to go. It's going to be Asher on the outside, Grimliv on the outside. It's going to be contact between the two cars, almost causing major accidents going up into the exit of turn 5, but Asher able to just squeak by on the Ferrari 296 of Grimliv and the gamepad driver circle and get back up into the top 3 positions here. Now just fighting for his slide home to keep that top 3 spot.
Yeah, that was definitely very interesting. You do not want to have an incident. It's such a big, long straight there. Any incident is going to send you straight to the barrier. And luckily for Grim, a very good recovery there, trying to make sure there's no issues there. As Tyan trying to sneak into... Oh my god, there's going to be contact here as you're being punted into the rear by Grim. Luckily, all 3 of them able to survive the entire complex. I don't think Azure is going to be happy with that move, but luckily no harm done, no harm foul. Cairo getting moved on Lunatic. Now Cairo finally P7, slowly trying to catch back up, but that's going to be unfortunate. Auras getting a spin onto turn 4. I think a little bit wide on the entry, and that's a bit unfortunate. But good recovery. Make sure there's no damage, and you can definitely move on. Lunatic definitely does not want to give that position away, trying to as much as he could to claw it back from Cairo, but I think that's going to be a lost effort. But they will try to keep it as close as possible, as we'll see slowly catching up onto Lunatic on P8.
Actually, we do see Cairo getting a bit of a compromise exit into turn 16 here, giving Luna the opportunity to have a bit of a peek going up into the inside into turn 1. They're going to be now going side by side in turn 1. Actually, it's not going to be Cairo just barely squeaking by ahead in turn 1, and that's going to be Lunatic getting right up into their bumper, going towards the downhill section towards turn 2, and now into turn 3 to the left side turn. It's going to be Cairo getting a pretty good exit going up here. That's going to be the unfortunate point of the other side, other way off the track into exit of turn 3 and getting into again more lap traffic going up into turn 5 with that hairpin. That's going to be Cairo getting right in front of the BMW here, giving Luna the opportunity to just get again really close into that Mercedes AMG car, but it's not going to be enough for him to make a move here. But I'm going to have to come back to that later. It's going to be a massive amount of traffic in Hilltop section. Now Timebox almost having contact again with the lap traffic cars with Asher again holding on for dear life with that 7-8 cars all up in their fight. It's going to be now Fox again getting up on the inside, then on the outside. Now towards the turn 12, it's going to be now going side by side onto the turn 15 cars into joints. It's going to be almost caught. Let me see another car. Bit of a landing. He's going to get. It's going to be again giving more opportunity for Asher to get away. It's going to be him breathing a big sigh of relief from these two competitors right behind them as we go again side by side into turn 16. Almost contact between them, with Grimblith keeping them inside line, just barely holding on.
Yeah, this is gonna help Azure getting a very good, get a good run. You know, get away from the fight. But I think Tyan realizes there's only 3 minutes remaining. There's only 2 laps remaining, 2-3 laps remaining, and they have to get the move done. They have to get it done now. No more missing nice guys. You know, trying to, you know, fight for P3 at this point. It's all out for themselves, and I think Grimlith has realized that as well, as they try to get away as soon as they can from Tyan. Hopefully for Grim that they are able to, but Tyan not gonna let go that easy, I must say.
Yes, indeed. We see Tyan just extracting every single bit out of that car. It's actually going to be seeing them having a bit of a peek into the entry of turn 5. We're going to get that switch back, get that better exit into turn 6 and 7 and 8 here. But it's not going to be not good of a. It's not a good place to overtake here. You see again, it's just Grimlith again shutting the door. It's going to be Azure. Apologies. Timebox now getting a good run up into the hilltop section. Now challenging Grimlith on the outside. Now towards the turn 10, turn 11. It's going to be the Grim hooking that inside. It's going to be Time just barely squeaking by into the entry of end turns and just barely able to get that to overtake Time. What a magnificent dive from the BMW M4 driver.
Amazing move out the outside. They really squeezed Grim in that corner, just giving him just enough, and unfortunately Grim also noticed that there is really nowhere else to go, unfortunately, and just had to concede that position. But no, I think both of them will be really happy with that fight that they have there. Unfortunate for the position, but it's very respective, and I must say applause to both of them for a very good fight here. Caffey still at the back of Plasma. I think there's going to be 2 more laps remaining in this race, and I really just think Caffey's just going to settle for P2, but you know, things could change. Caffey might make a very big dive on Plasma, and hopefully we might see a fight for P1. And it's a good hold for Plasma for P1 though. Tires, I think, definitely at this point are going to be a very big struggle for Plasma, as the Audi known to be very skittish and definitely going to choose to try this. BMW though, very good run on T5, very good exit all around, but it's going to be very interesting to see which one ends up on top, as we see 1 minute and a half remaining to this race.
Yeah, I do believe there's only going to be 2 laps left on our race here, with now Cappy and Plasma still in their fight for almost the entire latter half of the race here, fighting for that P1 position. And it's probably going to be Cappy might just make another daring dive into probably turn 5 or perhaps turn 10 if they can just get that run just enough here. But Plasma's just been driving an absolutely flawless run so far. Has not been a single mistake. He's just been able to massively navigate around lap traffic and just keeping their car in the exact right place that it needs to be to actually see. It's going to be Simon Lock now going off the track here, spinning one into the turn 10 goblets here, losing several positions. That's going to be Grimlith. That's saying goodbye. It's going to be actually a car of Joker who's the position. That's going to be quite an unfortunate run from them, losing so much time there. They were just on the back of Grimlith here for a bit, but now unfortunately they lost a break. I'm going to have to come back to them later, because it's going to be now again Cathy and Plasma going across the line. I do believe this is now going to be the final lap with only 40 seconds left on the time, and that's going to be the final opportunity for Cathy to see any kind of chance to make that challenge going up into turn 2, turn 3. Cathy hoping to just extract everything out of that car here, going up into the back of Plasma. It's not going to be enough. We're going to have to go back on the Tiny Foxes. That got caught up to the back of Andrical, now also challenging the McLaren 720S into the exit of turn 5 towards turn 5, hope to get that move to stick here, but it's not going to be close enough for them to see any kind of move happening. That's going to be actually then going 2-1, losing a lot of time, having to actually get off the gas here to avoid going on the spin here. That's going to be having now Cathy and Plasma still getting really close. That's actually going to be time out, but no white flag, so there's going to be still one more lap, one more chance for Cathy to finally make some kind of move and get that P1 position.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be, we really have to see kind of the very last complex. I think that's where the BMW would shine. But coming down into the complex of P12, very good exit for the both of them. It's as you see, Caffey, very bad run there. We're going to get compromised. I think that's going to be it for the driver for P2. But anything could happen in the last 2 corners here. You know, making sure that you have a good exit here as they do. coming down into the last few corners. She'll come into T16. Plasma has been really solid this time around, as we see Lunatic on the back of Cairo, as well as Wushel. All fighting for P7. I think Cairo has been really amazing this time around, but can Lunatic hold it on against their partner here in P9? Hopefully they're able to, but I think they're going to have a gentleman's agreement just to keep it clean for the final lap. As here as we Vex, our pole amp driver right now, trying to get through all the traffic to get to the end of the race. And we see Plasma already going through the grid at P1, and it's going to see Plasma, amazing race for them, as well as Kathy, both crossing line P1 and P2, and I see most of the grids starting to come in. Cairo P7, Lunatic P8, Wushel P9. Casual hopefully is going to come in at P10 as we come into Joker coming in here, fighting for their positions with Zephyr coming into P19 as we cross the grid. Unfortunate for them, but it's going to be at least a solid run, a solid finish for them. Ferrite having an incident before the end of the race. I think that's going to be unfortunate, as we see Auras fighting with... Is that Anchor? That won't be Anchor. That was Auras just fighting for... trying to end it at P12. Trying to get the final corner here. Pretty solid run from Auras, been pretty silent. No incidents so far, so I think they're going to be very happy with their run here. They were our fourth silver driver, even though they were our favorites coming into this. Unfortunately, they are unable to answer to the very fast drivers that have been driving here in Oulton Park. I think that's going to be very unfortunate for them. Neo coming through the grid at P29. Jerry coming through at P31. A lot of good finishes here.
Yeah. I think we're both very, very, very tired after a very exciting, very action-packed Oulton Park race here. But we unfortunately missed the very finishing line of Kathy and Plasma going over the finish line, getting that win. But again, with Plasma able to just hold off that charge from Kathy, well done for him to secure another pole position and victory. But it was certainly not an easy race for the pro esports driver here, able to hold off that charge from Time Fox pretty much the entire latter half of the race here.
Yeah, I think it has been a very good run from Plasma. Very, very well held. I think it's definitely been the driver of the day for me, at least. Coming in not at least to me, not in the favors given the car of choice. But they definitely have showed that there's a reason they are an esports driver, and it really shows.
Absolutely, indeed. And in our silver category, I do believe Luna already disconnected, but I can confirm that Luna indeed won the silver class race from him as well, and congratulations to him. And we also see the resurgence of Vex, who had that very chaotic, very unfortunate incident in Carlem that caused them to retire, but now they were able to finally redeem themselves, able to get that run they wanted, and now they got a very solid, very dominant win in their AM class category. So congratulations to him, and that's going to be bringing us to the end of a very interesting Oulton Park race here, and next time around it's gonna be in Misano. I'm excited for that, and I hope you are as well.
Yeah, Misano is gonna be a very interesting track. It's gonna be as tight as Oulton Park, but it is gonna be very interesting, very fast corners, as well as a lot of overtaking spots. It's gonna be very interesting for the grid that we have here.
Yes, indeed. But that's now going to be the end of our commentary for tonight, so stay tuned for next week, same time. Not Donington Park, apologies, that's gotta be the red after that, Misano after this. So we want to be saying a big thank you to everybody for a very exciting race, and have a lovely time zone wherever you happen to be. And from everybody here at Simufur, we wish you a pleasant day.
Bye.